Hey everybody, it's Shelly. Happy Thursday. I hope you're all having a great day. I'm having a pretty good day. I got all my reselling stuff done this morning I need to get done, and then I went on a little shopping thing. I had to go get some supplements that I was almost out of, and then I went to a store called Tuesday Mornings, and it kind of is like the housewares part of like TG Maxx or Ross, but it's just all houseware stuff. It's like, I guess it's kind of like Home Goods, and they just have some really good deals. And I ended up getting a sugar and creamer of Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland by Paul somebody. Anyways, I got them to resell, so that was fun. I love when I find stuff like that, and I don't think they're Disney, but they're definitely like Disney related, and that kind of stuff sells. And I looked up the comps, and they're good. Okay, so my subject for today is just talking about what do you really want. So you talk to people that are working the grind, and Mondays suck, and they're waiting for retirement and all that good stuff, and they're like, I just can't wait to retire so I can go live on my boat, or so I can go, travel, or I can whatever. So before your retirement, or even if you are retirement age, like, what is it that you really want? What kind of job do you really want? What kind of lifestyle do you really want? What kind of money do you really want? And with that money, why do you want that much money? Like, what kind of house do you want to live in? Do you want to rent? Do you want to buy? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, you should buy a house like it's an investment. It's not necessarily an investment. If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he talks a little bit about real estate. And you really, if you're doing real estate as an investment, that's one thing. But if you're just living in your residential home and thinking that's an investment, it could be. Like, I look at my grandparents who bought a house for $20,000 back in the 50s, and it sold for $1 million a few years ago. But that's a like 60, 70, like whatever it was. It was close to 60-year waiting period for that, and not too many people stick with a home that long. So I like renting. I like knowing that if that hot water heater goes out, I don't have to pay for it. I pay rent, so I don't have to worry about that. And people can say, oh, you're just throwing money down the drain. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that. I'm not throwing money down the drain. I'm living here. I've been through the whole mortgage process, and I've foreclosed on a house, and all that money that we put into that is gone forever. Like, so I would rather just rent and have the security of knowing that I don't have to pay for anything that breaks. The house that we're in right now came with all brand new appliances: washer, dryer, fridge, stove, dishwasher, the whole kit and caboodle. If any of that stuff messes up, I just make a phone call and it gets fixed. I appreciate that. Okay, so that's just me having my little babble about what I appreciate with my living situation. But what is it that you really want? If you want to win the lottery, like, what is it you really want with that lottery money? If you're going to have $100 million, if you're going to have $1 million, if you're going to have $200,000, like, what is it that you're really going to do with that money? And figure that out. Write it down. If you won $10 million, delegate it all out. What would it all go to? And a little hint I heard about winning the lottery for all you million bazillion dollar winners out there: if you hit a big jackpot, do not go claim it until you have acquired a lawyer and a financial planner. Because let's say you win $100 million and you want to give your brother or your mom or your best friend a couple million. There is a gift tax. And if you give one person more than $15,000 in a year, you have to pay a 40% gift tax on that. So keep that in mind. But if you go see a lawyer before you have that money and delegate it out before it's even yours, there are big tax breaks and all of that. So know that. But what do you really want? What job do you really want? And if you're not doing it, why? And what steps can you take to get there? When you close your eyes and visualize, are you visualizing your new job? Are you visualizing your new life? Like, I did an exercise where you write down your perfect day, and it's in detail. Like, you write it, like, if I read it, I would know every detail. I would know what color countertops you had. I would know what time you woke up in the morning and what your bedroom looked like. I would know what your car smelled like. I would know what it sounds like when you're walking through your barn and listening to your horses whinny. I would know, you know, how happy you are in your relationships. Like, write down your perfect day in detail. Sit down and make a project out of it. You know, come back to it if you get stuck. But what would your perfect day look like? What does your house and your room look like? What do your cars look like? What does your office look like if that's where you're going? Figure out what you really want. Because when you just put out there, I want to win the lottery, you might win the lottery, but you might win $2. And the universe is like, there you go. You just won the lottery. Like, I put a little thing on Facebook a while ago, and it said, I just won $2 on Mega Millions, and I would really appreciate it if everyone would just give me and my family the privacy that we need at this life-changing time. And it was a joke, of course, but it's, like, true. Like, if you put out there, I want to win the lottery, I win the lottery all the time. I get scratch tickets and win $5. I get, you know, so many numbers on a regular, you know, on a quick pick lottery ticket. I've got a couple sitting downstairs that are worth, you know, $2 or $3 a piece. They're just sitting downstairs because it's like more trouble than it's worth to go get that money, and I always forget it when I run to the store. So, but figure out what you really want. Figure out what your lifestyle that you really want includes financially. Like, is it $10,000 a month? Is it $100,000 a month? Is it $1,000 a month? Like, what is it? Some people want to live super simple. Like, that's their dream, is just to, like, live in a tiny house or you know, camp out in a cabin all the time. Other people want to live in a mansion and have a driver and a gardener and a pool boy, you know? So figure out what you really want. Write down your perfect day. Get real about what the finances are for that. Like, what is your mortgage payment or your rent payment? Do you want to just travel and live in motels? Do you want to, you know, live in another country? There's lots of people that, like, go and live in Mexico on these resorts and stuff, and that's their fantasy. People have, you know, homes in the Bahamas where they, you know, I look at, like, Tony Robbins. He owns a whole island in Fiji. If that's what you want, go after it. But figure out what you really want. Take responsibility for yourself. Don't blame other people for where you're at. Because you're right where you're at because of what you've done and the choices you've made. And you can say, oh, but, you know, this happened and it was, you know, that wasn't mine. It was theirs and I had to be there for them. No, you didn't. You don't have to choose those people in your life. You know, oh, well, they're family. Well, I have lots of family that I don't even talk to anymore because they are so far off base compared to where I'm at. And I just choose not to have them in my life anymore. So it's all about choices. Take responsibility. Figure out what you really want. And you can take it a step at a time. You can be like, I want a better house, or I want a nicer car, or I want to be able to have, you know, financial freedom or time freedom. I want to work from home. I want to be a doctor. I want to work in a vet clinic. I want to work at a zoo. I want to, you know, be a counselor or whatever. Like, what is it that you really want to do, and start working towards that. So that's my ramble for the day. I hope you appreciate it. I'll be sharing it everywhere. If you see this, feel free to share it. I'm working on that. So have a great day. Bye.